Welcome back, beautiful, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Smooth Podcast. Nothing makes me any more happier than to see your beautiful face tuning into the Smooth Podcast. I just like the fact, and I like to hear, and I like to know that my brothers and sisters are getting fed proper knowledge to better enhance them with their walk in life. And so I understand you guys are busy today, and if you clicked on the video and you come here in any other spirit other than the spirit of calmness, the spirit of gratitude, from a place of humbleness, I want you to take a second, pause the video, take a couple deep breaths, look around, and listen to the silence that's around you. Let's take a walk. Alright, so as you guys already know, Smooth, he does a podcast and he films podcasts, but I want to start a new segment on this channel. And this is a segment that relates to me because I see so many times, people, they talk about things that they're not going through. They talk about something that they read in a book, or they talk about something that their mom and dad told them, but they never actually went through it themselves. They never actually learned the life lesson that they're actually sharing. And so on this segment, and I don't know how, I'm sure this is going to last for life, obviously, because life is always teaching you new lessons. But every time, I feel myself going through a life lesson, or, I feel like I've just completed a life lesson and I'm moving on to the next one, I'll make a video about it and I want to share it. And life lesson that went throughout the past year, it's learning about relationships. Now, when it comes to relationships, a little bit about me is, I would say before I really started taking my relationship with God more seriously, I never really took relationships into that much consideration. I never put that much thought into it. I thought that a relationship was something that didn't need much thought. And although relationships, when they're meant to be, they come at the right time and everything fits well. So you necessarily don't need to put a whole lot of thought into relationships. But you do at the same time, because you need to establish boundaries for yourself and for the relationship. Now I always knew the woman's position along with mine, that the woman was created for man. The woman is the man's helper fit. I decided, and I wouldn't say that, I would say it's more of a subconscious decision, but I decided to not take into consideration probably what could have been the most important information God has for relationships outside of marriage, and that is, he talks about guarding your heart, guarding your mind, and guarding your soul. And really that could mean emotionally or physically. And me being me, I didn't do either. I thought, since I saw everything on social media and all these people seem to be having so much fun, sex out of marriage, falling in love outside of marriage, it seems to work out right every time. And for all the guys out there, you guys are probably going to be like, oh, the reason you got hurt from the relationship, you're a beta male simp, you probably chased a girl that didn't want you. And just to give you guys a little bit of backstory, that's actually not true. I was focusing on myself, I was focusing on my fitness, on my schooling, doing the things that a single man should and is expected to do, right? But here comes this girl and she shows interest in me, and I'm not a weirdo. I acknowledge her and we talk a little bit. And, after some time of her continuing to show interest, I'm like, hey, she seems like a cool person. I'll give it a chance. But I made that decision, as I said earlier in the video, without going into it without any respect or boundaries for myself. Now, I'm not going to say that I hated myself or I didn't love myself, because I definitely did. But I didn't take any information or guidance from an external being. I didn't have the boundaries of life that we should all wear when we're... You see, and I'm not going to say that it was a bad relationship, but as I said earlier, I didn't guard my heart, and I didn't love myself to not place boundaries on the relationship emotionally and physically. I'm not bashing her, but throughout that relationship, I can honestly say that I continue to fall farther and farther away from God, along with becoming unhappier and happier every day. And you may ask, well, Gabriel, if she actually was a good girlfriend to you, you have fallen and become more happier day to day, even with a good woman. And you see, the reason why that happened to me was because at the young age that I wasn't mature enough to see that the woman is not the purpose. You see, God gives every man his own purpose. And when a woman comes along to a man, she is his helper fit to help him fulfill his purpose in God with the purpose that God gave that man. And you see, at such a young age, I didn't even have my own purpose figured out. And so, honestly, to begin with, I wasn't even old enough for a relationship. Because what was that woman going to, how is that woman going to be any benefit to my life if I wasn't even working on something that would benefit me? And so, without me having a purpose and mix matching the steps, I decided to, instead of finding a purpose first, finding a purpose in God, I decided to bring a woman into my life. And you see, that can go wrong in many different ways, because when you don't have a purpose, finding a purpose is already hard enough in itself. But then when you decide to bring a woman into your life without already having a purpose, eventually, whether you want to believe it or not, that woman will become your purpose. And when the woman becomes your purpose, things start to go wrong. The woman will start to disrespect you, and she might even lose interest in you. And to be fair, she has every reason to, because women want a strong man in God that is strong in himself, that loves himself, that respects himself, that is strong enough to uphold boundaries, that is strong enough to uphold discipline in some sort of way, and that has some sort of purpose that she can help the man work on. You see, women, they want to be loved and they want to be praised, but they don't want to be the center of everything. They don't want to be the purpose. Women were created by God to help men. And women can't help men if men aren't already helping themselves, trying to do something for themselves. And so you guys are probably like, all right, Smooth, I get that you went through a relationship. I get that you didn't set boundaries for yourself. I get that you didn't have all of the respect that you should have had for yourself. But what is the life lesson that you learned? Well, the life lesson that I learned is that, number one, relationships and women, they're good. Relationships and women are beautiful. Relationships and women are fun and enjoyable and exciting, and they can be a great benefit to your purpose and to your life and to your walk with God. But what I learned with that is that the relationship is not the purpose. You see, and even further from that, the relationship not being the purpose, if you're not strong in God before you enter a relationship, there's going to be some external things that are guiding your relationship. And from those external things guiding your relationship, that is going to lead to problems in the relationship. You see, when I was in that relationship, was the deciding factor for my relationship, was it God? No, it wasn't. Not in that relationship. The deciding factor in that relationship was lust. And from the deciding factor in that relationship being lust, it wasn't always lust, it was other emotions. But when there's no God there, it can be a multitude of other things, and those other things are not going to lead you guys to what you guys ultimately want. And so for me, part of the time, the ultimate upholder for the relationship was, in a sense, lust. So yeah, when you have external things that you allow control your relationship, it can confuse you, it can confuse your partner. The boundaries can be somewhat unseen or unknown. And that's also where insecurity can come from. Because if your woman isn't rooted in God and she doesn't understand that she needs to respect you by, number one, not entertaining other guys, not talking to other guys, not being flirtatious or sexual with other guys. You see, in a relationship, that's not even something that needs to be said. The man shouldn't have to tell the woman, hey, you shouldn't be talking to other guys. Hey, you shouldn't be entertaining other guys. Obviously, you shouldn't be sleeping with other guys. You see, the man shouldn't have to say that, because then he looks insecure, right? But then the woman shouldn't have to say, hey, you shouldn't be talking to other women. Hey, you shouldn't be entertaining other women. Hey, you shouldn't be sleeping with other women. Because then the man is going to get mad. You don't trust me, this and that. And so you see, for a proper relationship to come together, there has to be, number one, a man that's rooted in God and a woman that's rooted in God. And when those two come together, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because, in a sense, the boundaries and the respect is already set. And that allows for the way that a relationship is supposed to be played out in God's eyes. With the woman being submissive to the man, following his lead, helping his purpose, helping him pursue the Lord, serve the Lord better. You see, there is no confusion when it comes to God. There is no mixed match when it comes to God. There is no better feeling in a relationship when it comes to God. Every man wants to be submitted to, and every woman wants to be loved and treated special and made like she's felt special. But there's so much confusion on TikTok and Instagram and this and that, to where, oh, guys should be doing this and girls should be doing this. When really all it is, guys, it's false information. It's false hope. And so listen, Smooth isn't just trying to preach you guys and be all pastor on you guys. Smooth wants you guys to enjoy a nice and beautiful relationship that flourishes, that makes you prosper in your purpose and makes your woman flourish in her day-to-day life without any insecurity involved. But what Smooth is trying to say is that isn't possible without a perfect upholder for your guys' relationship. And that's what marriage is. Because marriage is a covenant that God created by man. I'm not saying those papers that you signed were created by God. That's a man-made thing. But the covenant that you guys agree on till death do us part is a marriage, is a covenant that God created. And that covenant is meant to be between one man and one woman. Hopefully virgins. Now look, man, I got to get out of here because Smooth, he has some things to do. But I just want to leave you guys on a positive note. And the positive note that I'm going to leave you guys on is that we all struggle with different things, but something that can be very easily struggled with, especially in today's world with technology and devices, is lust. You see, it's very easy for men to get caught up in lust, and along with women. And all I'm trying to say is that although it may seem fun in the moment, lust will never lead you to what your heart and soul is actually thirsting for. You will never feed that craving that you have. And so if you're caught up in lust, whether you're man and woman, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I just have the truth and I understand the truth. You see, we are not the truth, so we will never be perfect. We will never be able to fully live up to the truth. But if we understand the truth every day, we can use the truth to better help us walk throughout life. And having the truth, it says that it will protect us. It will protect us from doing certain things, and it will protect us from getting into certain situations that we are going to regret later. If you're caught in the sin of lust, I want to leave you guys with hope. And this hope is that you can get to a place of not wanting to make the decisions that you are now. All you have to do is ask, and God will help you. God can help you through the situation that you're struggling with right now. And I say that with confidence.